Do you have some 8x8 pattern paper in your collection that you would like to get good use of, or are just wondering how someone might approach a large all-over design like this one? Hi, I'm Jess from JessCrafts.com, and I'm here to help you make the most of your crafty supplies and time. So let's get making. So I have this Minte paper music garden collection, and it's some of the papers in it have these really large overall designs. I saw the pattern paper online. I like that Minte paper includes these like cut aparts, and they're the back and the front cover. They have like cut aparts on the back. And I think that's really useful and helpful as a card maker. I can see how it'd be helpful for a scrapbooker as well, if they're working with the 8x8 size. However, sometimes it's hard to know what every paper in the collection looks like if you can only see the previews on the front. And I didn't realize that there were quite so many pages that had these really large designs. However, I enjoy a challenge, and so I'm going to take a look at how I would make something like this work today within the constraints of my paper busting templates as well, because I like to use pattern paper without scraps. So I have 8x8 paper busting template for A2 cards number 11. This is new, and it will be part of a release of my next set of 10 8x8 paper busting templates for A2 cards. So I have 10 more, and I'll show you a quick preview of some other cards that I made with the same pack of 10. So if you are looking to complete your collection, here are some of the other cards that will be made from 8x8 pattern paper. As this goes like, sorry, that's a different orientation. And so there's just like a little preview. You can see more in the Etsy shop, but we're gonna focus on today's. And if you don't want to purchase the templates, don't worry. I'll be really clear with the measurements, especially the measurements today are very, very simple. Let's start cutting our pattern paper. When using tools like paper trimmers, please follow all manufacturer's safety instructions. So if you can see, each card uses a 4x4 square. So the purple is all the pieces for one card, the blue, the yellow, the pink. I started trying to make that really clear in my templates and giving you more information. So you will see that in each of these, they'll be color coded. They'll tell you how many cards they make, whether they work with directional pattern paper. Now that can be tricky because it kind of assumes a certain amount of directionality. Now a square paper, it would work either way, and 8x8 is square. So that can be more challenging on like rectangular pieces. I'm thinking particularly 6x8. But anyway, if you have a design that has a clear top and bottom, like I do today, that's okay. It works with directional pattern paper. So with that in mind, knowing that basically I can create what I need from a 4x4 square, I can think if I, on this pattern paper, if I break this into, let me move my paper trimmer out of the way for a moment. If I break this into 4x4 sections of the patterned paper, will I be able to get an interesting 3x4 inch panel? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. That's the center of the paper. And I can also count up 1, 2, 3, 4. I have my grid mat here. So like that's my section. I think I could cut a 3x4 here. That would be pretty and a good focal point. Now on the bottom here, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm not sure that I would use a 3x4, but this is double-sided pattern paper, which is probably the only reason this is working ever, because if I had to use those squares made from this side, that would, I don't know, that would be really challenging. That'd be potentially very busy. Okay, so let's look at the other side. I thought, counting down again, 1, 2, 3, 4, the person with the headphones on, they are still fully in the frame. So I think I could cut a 3x4 and have that person kind of be part of the focal point. And then this 3x4, and again, this person playing the saxophone could be part of the 3x4. So the only quadrant in this scenario that was a little bit hesitant was this bottom right-hand one here. So I said, I'll go ahead and work with this template. And so that I do think about these things before I go ahead and pick out my template. Like, what do I want to see? What kind of sizes do I see in this particular set of patterned paper, that kind of thing. Now I'm ready to start cutting. And when using tools like paper trimmers, please follow all manufacturer's safety instructions. We're going to cut the 4x4 squares to begin. So cutting it to 4 by 8 inches. And now actually here, I know that I'm going to want to use the 3x4 inch is going to be on the left side, so I can actually cut this inch off here. Save me maybe a little bit of time since it's a smaller sketch or a smaller measurement, but you could do it however. And then these will be my two 3x4s, so I'll go ahead and cut those. And I think both of those look like nice focal points. I can put a sentiment over here. I could put a sentiment up here. You know, this, I want to say violin, but I think it might be a cello too. I'm not quite sure which one that instrument is. It's kind of hard with that like perspective of size and that kind of thing. But anyway, well, that is a little bit cut off. I think that overall it looks fine. And it makes, you know, even here I wouldn't be concerned at all about being cut off, but just showing the bottom of it. Okay, and then this remaining piece gets cut into 1 inch squares, and as you can see, I have this whole back of the pattern paper. I do think about that too, like if the back of the pattern paper is really simple and easy to use, then I'm confident going forward that, you know, I won't have to, I'll be able to just easily use the second side of the paper. So if I run into any trouble using the first side, but I do like to use those challenging bits because often they create really, really beautiful cards. Okay, so I'll do the same thing with this other half, but this time, well, actually it's kind of actually on the same side because I'm gonna use the left side again. So cutting the 1 inch off, cutting this into 3x4. Now, if for some reason I thought for a 3x4, this second half would have been better, I could have cut them to 4x4s first. Either way, I'm not sure I'm using this. I think I'm just going to be using the back side. So I wasn't too worried about it. So then again, I'll cut this into 1 inch squares. So my next step is going to be cutting my cardstock mats. I picked this speckle tone oatmeal cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. I thought that it was a nice soft color so that it wasn't like, overall the color palette for this paper is quite soft. I thought about maybe picking a pink, but I just wasn't sure that was like the overall direction I wanted to go with the card. Just I felt like the pink might be overwhelming, but that the green would be kind of hard to match. I mean, the pink would probably be very pretty, but ultimately I went for this like soft color of craft cardstock. And for our mats, we are going to need 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch mats for those large 3x4 pieces. This is really easy to cut out of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You're going to cut it first to 3 1/4 by 8.5. Then you cut the 3 1/4, the 8.5 inch side to 4 1/4, and you get the 2 mats that you need out of your cardstock perfectly. I'll do that again since we're making 4 cards. So 3 1/4, then 4 1/4. And then with what's left, the other mats we need are for the 1 by 1 inch squares, and I like to make my mats 1/4 inch bigger, so they would be 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. So if I had any bits of scraps, which I was just checking, so sorry for the crinkle, but I was checking and I don't see any scraps in there, so I'm gonna try my best to get them out of this efficiently. So I will cut it to 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, starting at 4.5, because that's what I have remaining. And then I will take that piece that is now 1 1/4 by 8.5 and just continue to measure 1 1/4 to get the most amount of pieces that I can out of each one of them until I have 4 for each card. So I'll need a total of 16 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 inch squares, and I will attach my patterned paper to the mats that I have cut for them. Let's look at assembling some of these cards. So for the squares that go in the corners, so you can see that here on the sketch, the 1 inch squares go right in the corners all the way up to the edges. I just picked a grouping of 4 that I liked together. I didn't really pay attention to which 4 had been cut from the same part of the pattern paper, but you could do that, especially depending on your pattern paper. Maybe that would be, it would feel more important to do that. And then I'm going to put my 3x4 panel in the center here. You could put something in the center to kind of like pop it up or like prop it up a little bit, because it is going to overhang these corners, but this is an 80-pound thinner cardstock, so I don't think it's gonna matter too much. Up to you. And then in terms of like deciding to put them in the corners and make sure they were all the way in the corners, I did that because I wanted to make sure that you saw as much of those little 1-inch squares as possible. But if for some reason you wanted to mix it up, you could pull them a little bit away from the corners or change things up. I always encourage you to think about that with the sketches, because a lot of times there are different ways you could arrange the same paper, but I'm generally just picking one and showing it to you. So I have my 4 different panels, and for my panel that has this like more plain pattern paper, I did fussy cut one of the elements from the back cover. I specifically chose the florals since I wasn't going to do anything specifically with the musical references today. So I thought maybe in the future I would want the music for some reason, like the musical instruments or something for a different type of card. So I thought I would just use the flowers today. And then instead of, I thought about, I could stamp a sentiment, like how do I want to put a sentiment on here? My instinct is to sometimes go to something punny because I tend to have a more cutesy punny sort of style. But this is really elegant pattern paper, which it's fun to work with something that's even like maybe a little bit outside of what I would normally work with or normally gravitate towards, because I do think these things are pretty too. It's not that I don't like them. I just, you know, my eye gets caught on those brighter patterns and things like that. So anyway, I decided to go with a die cut sentiment. And this is the Alt New Versatile Greetings die set. I like them because they're big enough to be substantial on a card, but not so big that they can't be used in a similar spot to like say a banner sentiment or something like that. So I'm going to cut all of the backgrounds out of a pink piece of cardstock that like was just a scrap in my collection, and then the hellos are going to be cut out of the same paper as the cardstock mats. What I would have ideally done is die cut them out of the backs here. This is a pretty substantial piece of cardstock that I completely covered with pattern paper and forgot to die cut anything out of, and I often do. So I think I was probably just trying to be quick today or something, and I just started gluing them down, and I did use actual glue, so I couldn't peel them up, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we didn't die cut anything out of that today. But you could do that, of course, to save a little bit of paper, and then of course die cut something out of the rest of them, totally up to you. And so I will put that generally opposite of the person. So I would probably put it in the top corner here on this card, the top corner here, but then on this one, the bottom corner. And then for the flowers, I will probably put those in the top left-hand corner and the word in the bottom right-hand corner. I was able to create 4 cards in all. I was able to use 3 panels from that really like complicated but beautiful side of the patterned paper, and then 1 from the more plain side of the pattern paper. But I'm really happy with how these turned out overall and how much of that gorgeous paper I was able to use, even though at first it seemed a bit challenging. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video with the share to your crafty community. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.